Hello everyone and welcome to my channel Knitted Art History, where I'm sitting telling you some art history stories while knitting and at this point occasionally knitting. So I will not knit anything today either. But today, as you can see by the name of the video, this is pretty unusual topic for the channel overall. Not a usual destination to go also. And I found out about this costumes, about Greenlandic costumes, like a few years ago when I started to do my traditional Ukrainian beaded jewelry. And today's topic is super interesting for me also. It's unusual for me also because I am not I didn't study history of costume, because this is not all of the faculties are including this topic into the program. I don't know why, because I really genuinely believe that it will be super useful for just even in terms of knowing periods by the costume. So when we are analyzing, for example, some paintings or like whatever, it would help us, the knowledge of costumes of different era would really help us to figure out what period of time is in this painting. So I am very surprised that costumes are not also widely studied on history of art faculties, but it is what it is. So this is a very unusual topic for me also, new for me also, so I'll be studying with you today. So I'll try to find a lot of photos, because I hope at least that there's a lot of photos. Especially I hope that I will find some of the older photos, of like 19th maybe century, like late 19th century. And in terms of literature, I don't know whether I will be able to recommend you something or not, because to be honest, I didn't stumble upon some books or something, well, at least that are available online, because the main point for me is here to recommend you something that is online so you can read it like sitting at home on your laptop or whatever. Plus this one, in the video, then I think you will understand why I'm wearing it. It's not just for the sake of wearing it. Kind of a bit also because of that, because I'm not wearing this anywhere. I'm a bit scared to wear it on the streets. Plus, it's too festive, and I just morally cannot put myself, to wear something so festive on the streets right now, because the situation is not festive at all in the country. But again, we will get to this point. You will understand why I'm wearing that. So without further ado, let's dive into our topic today. So Greenlandish, what is English here? Costume overall, it's a very unique and interesting thing. The costume itself is super vibrant, super intricate, and this is, the modern one, this evolution that got this costume to like its modern form, that is the result of Western European influence. This is the result of colonization, of globalization also. In former times, before Western European influence, obviously, the main thing that Inuits, the people there, had access, it was obviously fur and obviously animal skins. So depending on the part of the island, the different types of skin and fur were used. So the northern parts of Greenland were mainly using polar bear skin, with additionally to seal skins. So seal skin is very common for, as I understood, the whole of Greenland. But different regions had that additional type of animals that they were using. Further south in Greenland, they were mainly using foxes. So also they have different type of foxes there, plus also reindeer fur. Especially, there were the differences between men's and women's costumes, obviously, as everywhere. But in men's costume, it was the most important for this costume. It was oh my god, what I'm trying to say. Men's costume needed to be super strong, right? They needed to be super strong, super warm, And what is most important, they needed to be waterproof also, because well, because of the hunting that they were doing. And well, they were hunting not just on land, but they were hunting on water also, in kayaks and everything. So obviously, you know, a fur itself, it's pretty well, it's pretty heavy, and you can imagine if you will like wet those things, it's just, it's instant death in water. So it was very important. In ancient history also, before the beads came to the island, I mean seed beads specifically, because when I was doing like my video on traditional Ukrainian beaded jewelry, which I highly recommend you to watch, I was confused, you know, because it was like what, a year maybe, or even more at this point ago. I was confused how to name it, because in Ukrainian we have different types of the names for that, you know. So beads is beads, and seed beads, it's completely different. So, you know, so for this type of the bigger one, we call this namistiny. For this smaller one, we call them biser. So, you know, so you're not confused about the names, but in English it's a bit confusing for me. But well, at this point now I'm smart, and now I know. So before the seed beads came to the island, women obviously were doing were decorating their clothes with different stuff, such as shells, for example, some amulets also, the beads, the beads, the big one, right? They were doing from bone, for example. They were carving from bone, or well, mostly from bone. It was done from bone, and it was strung into a necklace. It was also sewn on clothes, sometimes on men's clothes also. Yeah, prior to that, they had obviously those like natural materials, and well, that was available for them in the country. So the first, well, Western European colonizers came to Greenland in like 17th century, 17th, 18th century, and a part of well, such thing as seed beads, or just like glass beads overall, they brought also different type of materials, of fabric, I mean. So these fabrics were like silk, for example, like some woolen wool stuff, a part of, as I said, glass beads, seed beads, and stuff like this. And all of that was, you know, the Europeans were bringing with them as some goods, and for trade, obviously. And with, well, time and time, these materials, they gradually became incorporated into the Inuit traditional, like the traditional costumes. Particularly, they were using all of this for their festive attire, obviously. Overall, the composition of the costumes is, well, more or less the same for the Greenland, but still at the end of the day, they have some regional differences. We will talk about that. And particularly the differences are in some details and in colors. So I will start with women's clothes, because you know, it's a bit more colorful than men's. It's more intricate. It's a little bit more interesting, and yeah, it's a bit bigger, just in terms of details and everything. So we'll start with that. So the standard part of the costume includes, well, at this point now, some linen made clothes, some satin, or like linen or satin. Rarely it's they use woolen fabric to make it into a surcoat. The neck is obviously closed. It has this narrow leather collar. The sleeves also have leather trim, and practical wristbands are distinctive on the women, because they protect them against the cold, obviously. The most dominant part of the costume, well, this is exactly why I wanted to pick up on this topic. It's the seed beads garment that is, well, at certain point of time, it was actually sewn onto the surcoat. Now I'm not sure how it's been done. whether they wear it separately or they also are sewn. So maybe I super hope that this will land to somewhere in Greenland, or at least someone who is familiar with this topic, and maybe you have something interesting for us to, you know, to share with us. So I will be super interesting to read that. So leave the comment if you want. Yeah, but we will stop on that beaded garment a bit later, like particularly, because again, this is exactly why I wanted to talk about this topic today. So about the trousers are called takisut. So I'm sorry, I will butcher these names, most definitely, but well, I will try. So they are primarily made from sealskin, and they also have a belt around the waist, like black belt made from skin, and the trousers are also decorated with two decorative stripes that are sewn onto the front sides of the thighs. This type of decoration is called avitat, and it is usually further emphasized by means of the inclusions of small colored strips of leather. The shoes are also sewn from sealskin. The shoes is named kamik, and they have here also the differentiation of color by age. If it makes sense what I said, yeah. So older women, they are primarily wearing something darker, like on a darker sheen, like dark blue, for example, or they are wearing yellow ones also. Younger women, they are wearing red. Well, again, I'm not sure is this like, you know, super strictly like that, or it's just they can wear it like that. For women, the majority of these snow white kamiks are decorated with strips with a floral design, floral lace. And well, this is an interesting topic and part also of the costume. So you might ask, where is this coming from? So it's exactly coming from Moravia. Well, exactly from where the seed beads are coming. So Moravia is modern Czech. Yeah, I think they're calling themselves Czechs. Not Czech Republic. Well, Czech. Czechia. And well, how you will ask how it happened? Well, with this colonization. So Moravians came. So the Moravian brothers came, like they were missionaries. They came to the island and they recommended that the women would, like women should, make this ribbon, like floral ribbons, as part of their own costume also. Plus, they recommended for women to wear some ribbons because, well, in Eastern Europe, ribbons, it's like almost all of our cultures, we have ribbons like woven into our hair. Or just like, for example, our Ukrainian traditional stuff, how we are wearing, it's just you know, the wreath, and we have a lot of stripes going, you know, from this wreath. So yeah, so this is not something unique, but they recommended for them to wear also those stripes, as like, no, ribbons, I'm sorry, into their hair, because that would have shown their age plus their marital status, and plus the different colors. You know, different colors also have their meanings of, again, the age and marital status. Plus, interestingly, that well, the Greenlandish let's rephrase it. The national costume of Greenland, it's the only actually like women specifically, it's the only costume, well, at least considered to be the only costume, national traditional costume in the world that actually, you know, gives preference to trousers for women rather than skirts. Which is obvious, but maybe not so obvious, because still there is part of the world that are super cold, but still women are like traditionally obligated to wear skirts. As I mentioned already, that the differences in the national costumes are common from geographical areas. So specifically, they are dividing like women's costumes are divided on well, 3 geographical area, so 3 types of women's costumes. So the first one, again, I am super sorry if I will butcher these names, but well, the first one is Kalali suit, so it is the West Greenlandic national dress, and that is the most colorful variant of the national costume. It features elaborate glass, like this seed beads collar, sealskin short pants, and with beautifully decorated white, well, as I understand, specifically white kamiks, so the shoes. The second one is Arnatut, I'm again sorry. So those are the Northwest national dress. This variation includes extra long sealskin kamiks, pants from the skin of Arctic fox, and a black sealskin collar. And the third one, it's well, with this one I have the most problems. Tanumiutut or I'm sorry. I will write it on the screen so you will just read it yourself, so I will not, you know, disrespect it even more. So this is the Eastern national costume of Eastern Greenland, and this so it is also said that this type of costume actually has 2 variations. So one made solely of sealskin, and the other featuring a white anorak adorned with glass beads, dark pants, and high kamik boots that are richly adorned with floral embroidery or lace. About the male folk costume, so the male one is just overall elegant, but it's not so colorful obviously as women's one. It consists of black or dark blue trousers and also an anorak sewn from strong high quality canvas with a hood, and is sewn on breast pockets and 2 other pockets on the sides of the jacket. So the kamiks, the shoes, are shorter than women's one, and they have a white decorative cuff at the top. So the color of men's anorak is usually white, but to a lesser degree it can be also green, or it can be blue or something like that. So now the interesting part, the glass beads. Well, firstly, when this material came to the island, women were using it obviously, well, as they were using previously the bone beads. But with time, again, obviously, we are evolving, we're searching for new forms and everything. They started to use more and more beads, because those beads became a prestigious thing. As I said, this trend of this, you know, using more and more beads are mostly visible in women's costume. So the first beads came to an island with Dutch traders, Dutch colonizers, like, I don't know how to call them correctly. A bit later, followed mainly then by Danish people or Germans. So Danish or German merchants, and well, now maybe some of you don't know, but Greenland is actually technically part of Denmark, so it is under the Danish crown. Because I remember, like, when I found out this in school, I was so surprised, because I was more than sure that Greenland is its own state, like Iceland, you know, or it is the part of Iceland. It like made a little bit more sense to me for it to be like part of Iceland, or to be a like independent state. But well, turned out it's part of Denmark, and since then I'm very confused about that. But well, maybe some of you didn't know this now at this point. So yeah, so technically it's Denmark, and this is actually how I also saw, because I saw the Danish well, at this point, no, I don't know, no, Danish queen, yeah, this was Sweden, I'm sorry, and the Danish queen, I saw her in the national costume of Greenland, and I was like, what are you wearing, what is that, I need to know more. And yeah, but whatever. The first merchants, they were common, and they were using this, they were like trading these seed beads as you know, for example, for the assistance to assistant during like whaling or harvesting blubber or whalebone, or also the skins of white and blue foxes, and so-called ivory, which involved walrus tusks and very rare narwhal tusks. And firstly, when they were common back in time, so like 17th century, right? This is those were Italian glass beads, because in this period of time, Italy was number one at this point already for centuries in creating glass. So Murano Island, and well, they're still doing one of the highest quality glass in the world. Already, like, God knows, quite a lot of centuries at this point. So I will not get into details in that. I've talked about this in the video about my like in my video about traditional Ukrainian beaded jewelry. So again, recommend you to watch it if you want. Bear with me there. I might talk strangely there because again, you know, I felt myself so uncomfortable in front of the camera. I mean, I still feel myself pretty uncomfortable, to be honest, in front of the camera, but at this point already I at least well, I am adapting a bit by bit. Yeah, so I will not get into details in that, but firstly it was Italian, like Murano one specifically, but then well, Moravia, you know, the Czech beads became the number one beads in the world because of well, some technical advantages, because they created the machine actually that was like cutting this seed beads, so it was not done by hand, and obviously this helped with the production and made the production way faster. Yeah, so then after that they were mostly using Czech beads. Now obviously it's super easy because you can just you know order it from whatever site you're using there, and you will have those beads. So then at some point Greenlandic ladies started to use those seed beads, well, those Italian or Czech one, primarily Czech one, to such an amazing thing that is called a yoke. Again, hope I pronounced it correctly. So yoke, this is that big, enormously big beaded collar that was worn like on the surcoat. So usually they were rather large. They are getting to to the waist, you know, they're covering the elbows. Sometimes they can go even further, but most, as I understand, for practical reasons, it's to the waist and to the elbows. It looks even more like a cape rather than a piece of jewelry, as we can say. Well, this also I think looks more like a cape. This yoke is done you know, with different intricate patterns, with a lot of colors. It's not just like, you know, one or two colors. They are super colorful, as you can see. The most popular colors are red, are like red, blue, some yellow, some orange, some white, I don't know what else, like violet, and etc, etc. About the pattern also here, it's interesting because it is written that the pattern actually comes from the Vikings. So Vikings were the one who brought well, this style of adornment and these weaving designs to Greenland, and to this day some of the motifs and symbols remain pretty popular, you know. So historically this yoke was a, well, obviously a status item, as seed beads were imported to Greenland, and they were well, pretty expensive, you know, they were rather costly, so not everyone could afford them, and you need like hella a lot of beads to, I mean, for this one, like, I don't know how many beads I use. I mean, like, this one weighs like around 400 grams. Those like Greenlandish one, I don't even know how much they weight. And second of all, like, I think that, again, I don't even know how many beads, how many grams of beads I used for all of that. So yeah, so for those type of work, it's even crazier, I believe. So it's logical that that was a status thing, that it was something that you know, only well, the rich more rich population could, like more rich women could afford to buy. It says everything. The first, those yokes were smaller in size. I don't know how much smaller. Maybe smaller like this. I don't know, or maybe smaller like this. Again, I don't know. Well, that's why I hope that it will lend someone to Greenlandic people and who know even more in depth that, and they were enlighten us on that. But it was just sad that they were smaller, which is, again, it's logical. When you are learning something, you're creating something new, you're starting from the smaller parts, yeah, and then you're growing. So this is, the thing that applies to everything in this life. But with time, maybe the techniques were changing, I don't know, but with time it was like growing. So now even I will show you this. So this is a exhibit from one of the museums in Greenland, which is a modern piece, as I understand, and it is like purely decorative piece, because I am not sure that you would be able to actually wear this thing. Like, I don't know about the practicality behind that, but some of the masters, they are creating such stuff just for the pure, again, pure artistry, or pure aesthetics, I don't know. And this also piece, I cannot imagine how many beads you need to well, first of all, how long you need to do that, and second of all, how many beads, how much like how many of, no, oh my god, many of the materials you need to use there. So yeah, so firstly it was something, so this exquisite colors, it was mostly available to wealthy women and women who had a higher position in society. But with the development, as people, new period of time were common, and more people started to have more money, and for more women those things were available, and with time this color became more available to, well, biggest part of the population. And why specifically I wanted to well, that will be all for today. So as I said, pretty briefly, just, well, this overall knowledge what I was able to find, but I think it's pretty full. Actually, it's a pretty full info. So we have this vision how this looks like, how it's called, like what they have there. So again, if you are interested and you will be able to find something like a further read in depth, well, also it would be very nice if you will share it in the comments, because I would like to read it myself also. But well, again, why I wanted to talk about that, I think you can agree that it looks, well, in the form at least, right? It looks pretty similar. So I specifically also took I have those krivulki in few colors. So I have also this one in green. So it's like that. So it's like, yeah, like that. You see, it's a little bit more more colorful, so you can imagine it better. But well, same, pretty big, pretty heavy. Also terrified to wear it outside, because someone, I don't know, will just catch me somewhere and it will just rip apart, and I'm terrified of this, because also it took me, well, a lot of time. But well, how I came up with finding this out about the Greenlandic costume, and that they were wearing those stuff of they also have this colored beaded collar. My god, my English today is not English, and I don't understand what is going on. But well, as I said, I saw the photos of a Danish queen. Well, at least I believe it's Danish. Someone from Danish royals. I believe it was the queen, but I'm not familiar with them. So it was someone from a Danish royals who visited Greenland with an official, well, visit, and she was wearing the traditional clothes. Clothes there, and the women there were greeting her in a traditional costumes with these amazingly beautiful beaded collars. And I started to look it up, search it up, and I was like, wow, where is Greenland, where we are? And I will say you another stuff. that indigenous Americans have also the same thing. They have also a similar stuff, those similar beaded colors that they were like doing. But it is also why I wanted to talk about this, that it's, again, it's so super interesting how, well, different part of literally, where is Ukraine, where is Greenland, where is like US, you know, the indigenous people of America, because this is mostly, I as I understand, the well, those tribes that lived on the modern, in the modern US, they had mostly this type of colors, also seed beaded colors. So again, I believe, but I'm not sure, I believe something in Asia might have been, but again, I'm not sure about this, so I will not get into this. And it was Africa also, because in Africa they also had something, but I believe it was just beads, so it was not something like that. But I am not, well, actually no, you know what, I'm lying. I think I'm lying, because I saw some of the Africans, also some of the African masters, some of the African women doing some of the beaded colors like that, was also like, you know, the patterns, the colors, does not look like indigenous American, and does not look like Ukrainian either. So maybe they had something. So I was like, well, not surprised, but it was very interesting for me, you know, to see something like that, like thousands of kilometers from Ukraine, from my motherland, you know, from my mother culture, to see something like that, again, in a different part of the world, basically. And also why it was so interesting for me, this is actually one of the stuff why I also hope that it will land somewhere on to Greenlandic people. I am so interested in technicalities there, like how it is beaded, because I mean, I can see, you know, I like those photos that are in good quality. I kind of like, you know, saw like the number of beads that you're taking or whatever, but I don't understand the other thing. So how these pieces are so even, or what word to use here, because you can, well, you can see here that I have some kind of like, you know, little waves. So again, this kriza, it's not like a traditional one, so this is like a modern interpretation rather. And I am, well, in terms of color, in terms of size, in terms of also the manner of beading, because the traditional ones, they are beaded, so this part is beaded, what is this, vertically, and then starting from those triangles, or not triangles, rhombuses, well, not like this, like the real rhombuses, we start to bead it like horizontally, like that. But this type of beading does not give the desired length that I want, no. So I'm not really doing that. And so here I used a little bit different technique. So I have just one row here that is horizontal, and everything else is vertical. There I don't see any horizontal, and this, like, why I'm saying this, because this horizontality, this is that gives this to the jewelry, this rounding, or again, I don't know what word to use here, so for you just to understand, you see how, does it look good there? Yeah, you see how it's laying on my back. Yeah, so this is exactly what is so this is like exactly this one row, this is exactly what is giving this stain, so it's laying like on my back, and it's covering my back fully. But when you're doing this, you see you're having those little waves here, and on the green one, that is like the same. You see these waves, it's the same thing. But on those pieces, again, as you can also see, they are completely straight, they are completely even, and they are laying down like this, like very evenly on the body. And I don't understand. I don't understand how, because because I thought maybe they are doing like, you know, a very broad this part, but no, it's not. Like I can see by the photos that mostly like women are you know, with the same neck as mine, or well, a little bit like bigger on those photos that I've seen. So no, they are most definitely doing something like similar to this side is. But if I will just do it with this side and just do it vertically like this without any tricks, it will not lay down like that. It will not cover like completely my body, and especially will not, because you know, like I'm looking at the photos and it looks pretty comfortable. So it's not something that, you know, that they're wearing and they're like this, they cannot move. No, it looks like they can move a bit, so they can do something with their arms, like. So this is another thing, like the technical part of this is super interesting for me, and I'm like, not that I, to be honest, searched specifically how to do them, but I didn't saw any info about this either written. So yeah, so it's super interesting for me technically, because you know, you can actually adapt this method to, well, to do like our lemkivski krize, I don't know, but that's very interesting. But yeah, but overall I think that was, well, I hope it was as interesting for you as it was for me. And well, again, I am super excited about this topic because of, you know, the fact that I am doing the same thing here in Ukraine, 1,000 kilometers like away from Greenland. And there's someone there. There's also women that at some point in time came to, you know, same conclusions as well, my ancestors here in Ukraine, to do something with seed beads, and not just something, but to do such a colossal, you know, amazingly hard work of doing this enormously big collar, like seed bead collars. And well, I will shut up. And yeah, so hope it was interesting. Stay safe, stay healthy, and hope to see you in the next videos. Bye bye.